Senior X30 qualifying heat C versus E. That is coming up next. This one as the engines fire up and make their way out onto the track. You've got 3 of them in the top 4. Right, engines firing up. Let's take you through the full starting lineup for this one. Freddie Lloyd and Pip Casabin go from row number 1. Maxime Bouvert and Thibaut Ramekers go from row 2. Kian Gucci and Roxanne Lantinga also took a race win earlier on, starting on row number 3. Row 4 sees Noah Wolf and Fernando Luca on that row. Then you have Luca Horton and Alphonse Miettinen on row 5. Patrick Ogrodovchik and Austin Gale go from row 6. They'll have Robbie Buckley and William Thompson on row 7. Eloy Gonzalez and Diogo Castro on row 8. They'll have Charlie Glum and Jacob Mikalev on row number 9.
On the 10th row of the grid, we find Thibaut Kempf and Miguel Silva. Louis Coma and Kuyo Lee go from the 11th row of the grid. Hugo Brun and Martin Wallström start on row number 12. Eric Vess and Jesse Saarinen start on row 13. Max Starikov and Kyle Machea start on row 14. Yannick Gabrick and Caden McQueen start on row number 15. Konstantinos Boras starts on row 16 alongside Spain's Nico Villa. Row 17, we find Timian Halfstad and Thomas Hansen. 35 drivers in the field, the last of them the 256 of Amanda Salonen.
Well, we look forward to seeing what happens in this one. These drivers priming themselves up for this one. You've got Freddie Lloyd, who finished first. You've got Pip Casabin, who finished second earlier on in his first race. So again, crucial to see what happens here. Thibaut Ramekers, who actually won on track that first race, unfortunately did get a nose cone penalty. That dropped him down to P8, which is not the result he was looking for. And Fernando Luca as well. A solid result for the Mexican driver, finishing in P5 earlier on, gaining 2 places. So very strong results over the course of that race, as the marshals going to do their level best to try and slow the field down here. They are a bit spread out at the front. The front runners trying to push themselves along as much as they possibly can, get temperature into those tyres, but they've got to slow it down now because the back of the grid is not lined up at all here. They're still relatively spread out. Let's see if we're going racing. First time of asking the front, looks good. Let's see what happens here. Are we going racing? Yes, we are. Green flag is out as they head down in towards turn number 1. It's a good start for the front row. Freddie Lloyd holding on to that inside line, but is he going to maintain the lead of this one? No, he's not. Around the outside, Pip Casabin takes it as drivers take to the runoff area on the exit of turn number 2. Some drivers losing out on so many positions.
Yeah, I think that might... Oh, someone's gone a long way off the circuit there. It's one of the Zanki Motorsport runners. I think that might have been Carl Mikalev from Malta, who found himself going for a little bit of an explore of the Aragon scenery. Sorry, Jacob Mikalev in this race in the 284 into turn 7. Oh, a few drivers going a bit deep now as it's starting to get to that point of the afternoon, the early evening, where the temperatures are starting to drop out there on track a little bit. The shadows are definitely lengthening. Back at the front of the order, coming round to complete lap number 1. It's been a fast first lap for your race leader. Thibaut Ramekers is through into the lead of this race. Let's have a look at what happened on lap 1. So there's a first incident going on there through the exit of turn 2. I think that's Eloy Gonzalez you see cutting across the grass. And then I think there's going to be a secondary incident there for Mikalev. That's not a good moment for Carl Mikalev, for Mikalev at all. Relegates Jacob Mikalev all the way down to 16th place. Machera also down the order to 33rd. So 2 of Malta's drivers in this race. Oh, in fact, it generally wasn't a good lap at all for drivers from Malta, because Kian Gauchi also dropped down the order 22 places to 27th.
Indeed. Well, this time around, Thibaut Ramekers once again controls this race. However, has that nose cone stayed firmly attached this time around, because that's what he's hoping. As he leads this race, clear by 0.3 of a second. Pip Casabin there in second place, trying to close in, but the gap, I think, is opening up. It's under 0.4 of a second. They cross the line, it goes above 0.4 of a second. So Ramekers' pace now looking strong. And yes, nose cone looks spot on this time around. So it was just one of those where he just got caught out in something, and it just dropped last time around. This time, all is good.
I say all is good, Pip. Oh, that's all a little bit rough and tumble. That's Luca Horton right in the middle of it all in the GGM entered machine.
Yeah, there was Freddie Lloyd as well in that one with Noah Wolf, and obviously Freddie Lloyd was the winner earlier on. He's looking to, well, take that win back again, and so both of the winners from earlier on are now not in the top spots right now. Roxanne Lantinga still there in third place, but look at this scrap now for position further back in the order as one driver kicking up the dust there in the background. Can't quite see the number. It looked like the 202. I think that was Robbie Buckley.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Robbie Buckley falling down the order a little bit. You make a very good point there, Anthony, about the two race winners before this one started being a little bit further down in the order. I think that's why if you're someone like Danny Caronini, that P2 in the last race wasn't necessarily a bad result for the standings lead overnight. Bit of a discussion going on there. This is the battle for fourth place between Freddie Lloyd and Luca Horton. Noah Wolf in the bright yellow helmet. The VAR by Birrell suits not too far behind. Lloyd goes through. That looked like the drivers were helping each other nicely there, fairly collaborative, and this is why, because they've got a near 2-second disadvantage to get over the hill on, because this top three of Ramakas, Kasabin and Lantinga running very nicely at the moment in the high or low. Oh dear, is that Fernando Luque off the road in the 225? That is coming out of turn number 4. 5th place earlier on is not going to be repeated on this occasion by the Mexican.
No, it certainly won't be. He started this race on the 4th row of the grid, and yeah, that is a big shame for him, dropping backwards in this one. We're about to end lap number 4. We're going on to lap 5 of this race, and well, Roxanne Lantinga here is closing on Pip Kasabin. Potentially could be going for second place here. No, thinks against it, pushing themselves along. They're closing in quite drastically on Ramakas, but they need to make a decision of what they want to do for position, and the decision has been made. Roxanne Lantinga back into second place. We could actually still see a double winner here.
We could indeed. Roxanne Lantinga made that move, a decisive move, was not satisfied that Pip Kasabin was going to be able to keep on the rear bumper of Thibaut Ramakas. Next lap is going to be crucial. From this point on, is out of the race. That's one of the VDKs off the road. Hope they're okay. I think that's going to be William Thompson, is it not, in the 329?
I think so.
Because Thompson has fallen down the order, has not come through sector number 1. That's a real shame for the Australian. For his countrymen towards the front here. Kasabin, this is tough moments because he's being dropped a little bit by Ramakas and Lantinga now. 4 laps to go. Lantinga all over the back as there's a problem there for the 294. That's one of the Pantanos off the road. That is going to be Miguel Silva falling out of the top 20. Meanwhile, back with this lead battle, and Roxanne Lantinga, who's had a tremendous start to this 2024 edition of the Miami Warrior Final, is all over the back of Timo Ramakas.
Yep, certainly is. Really, really impressed me, as has Roxanne Lantinga so far this weekend, with the same situation she found herself in earlier on, except taking the race win on paper after the race. This time around, she probably thinks, no, I want to win this one fair and square right in front, and has really piled on the pressure. I was thinking maybe as Ramakas just held off a little bit, trying to maintain tyres a little bit, because now he's opened it up a little bit more. You can see Roxanne just chucking the kart in there. You can see the back end just on the edge of stepping out in towards turns 10 and 11. And the gap now has actually opened up a little bit more now between the two of them as they go across the start-finish line.
What's really encouraging to see from Roxanne's perspective as they head into turn 2, race pace. Last time we saw Roxanne race was the very last round of the Euro Series, where she had really, really good single lap pace back at Genk, but it was stringing 4, 5, 6 laps together that just didn't happen for her on that weekend. Scratch that, that's definitely happening here in Suera for the biggest race of the year. This is one of the top drivers, not just in X30 karting, but in karting across the board internationally in 2024. Being given a real test here by Roxanne Lantinga. Roxanne Lantinga is coming into play in this senior category. We're on lap 7, 2 to go through this tricky part of 9, 10, 11. The tyres won't be liking this at all as they wind it up through turn 12 now. This has been a big lap from Rama because he's just started to stretch it out now. It's another personal best, a 1 minute 3.5. This is where if Lantinga wants to win this race, he's going to have to really dig deep into turn 2 again. This is tremendous stuff.
It certainly is. Eyes on it all the way to the end. It's not over. I reckon, is this going to be a wait for the last moment here as well? Well, we've got something there from Freddie Lloyd. Fastest lap of the race. There he is in P4. He's closing in on these top 3, but time very quickly running out as King Gauchi unfortunately picking up a warning flag that comes with an in-race undisputable 5-second time penalty. Will tumble down the order at the end of this one. But like you say, the racing lines that we're seeing here now, that was very drastically different there. Held it a little bit tighter on the exit of the corner there, did Lantinga. That just gave Ramakas carrying more speed, the time to break away a little bit here, and you can see the difference that's opened up in the gap between the two of them. It's allowed actually Pip Casabin to maybe close back in and have an attempt here into turn number 2 if we can get that slipstream here. Onto the start-finish straight, last lap board goes out. The race isn't over, but I think the battle for the lead may be over here as Roxanne Lantinga is now under pressure from Pip Casabin, who's immediately going to pull out of the slipstream and send it down the inside and into second place.
Fair play to Pip Casabin. Pip Casabin has dug deep in this race to get back into the P2. Freddie Lloyd's on the charge as well. Freddie Lloyd's not done here today on Wednesday, side by side between Casabin and Lantinga into turn 5. Lloyd with nowhere to go has got to be patient at this moment, stay there in P4. Ramakas has gone. Classic Ramakas has delivered when it matters in this race. Has become such a master of race management in the senior categories in 2024. Casabin stretching away now as well for second place. Lloyd having a look down the inside through the kink into turn 9. Is going to maybe try and do a run out of turn 12, but Thibaut Ramakas is going to put his name onto the winner's board here in the heats. A comfortable win in the end from Pip Casabin. Who's going to take third? It's going to be close on the line, and it will be Lantinga who takes it by 8 thousandths of a second ahead of Lloyd. First win of the weekend, that one will stand. No problems at all for Thibaut Ramakas. He is well and truly arrived at IWF 2024.
He certainly has. That 8th place earlier on after the nose cone can be stricken from the record in his mind because he comes away now with a solid race win. That's exactly what he needs. That will help him out nicely as he tries to recover back to that top spots in the intermediate classification. Right, now after that race then, all of our race winners from earlier, apart from one, have lost out and having a perfect score. Dylan Seaman, who will be in the last race today, he is the last of the race winners to see if he can claim a perfect score at the end of day 1. That'll be later on though. But in this one here, Ramakas takes the win from Pip Casabin, Roxanne Lantinga from Freddie Lloyd, Luca Horton from Patrick Okradovchik, Noah Wolf from Maxon Bouvert, who finishes in P8. Charlie Glum from Eloy Gonzalez running out the top 10 in that race. There's a look at the full provisional classifications at the end of that one. Martin Volstrom from Austin Gale. Gale picked up a warning flag in that one as well. Lukeman from Robbie Buckley and Kyo Lee rounding out the top 15. 16th place though sees the biggest mover, Thomas Hansen. 18 places gained in that one, Andrew.
Yeah, really good run for Hansen there for Pantano Racing Team. Similar good drive from Caden McQueen, who was up 13 spots to 17th. Diego Castro, Timian Hafstad up 14, and Jacob Mikulev all in the top 20. Quite a few drivers having problems in that one because Mikulev, we know, was off at turn 4, was he not, on lap number 1, and still came home ahead of the likes of Max Starakov